Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crossover Podcast. My name is David Shynock. Pleasure to have you back. It's been 3 days since Monday. Busy season, busy month close is finally wrapped up. A lot has happened over the last week and a half that I didn't even get to talk about on Monday. And yeah, it's just a pleasure to get back in front of the mic and just talk about some stuff again. Feels like it's been 2 years, even though it's only been 3 days in actuality. But when month close is going on, that tends to happen. 3 days feels like 3 years. But anyways, there's, as I said, a lot to get into. And the first thing I want to do is announce that I just hit 100 followers on TikTok, and I actually have a challenge coming up to hit 10K. So I don't want to spoil anything here. I want to let the announcement officially go live on TikTok, but just know that'll go live Friday at around 9 a.m. Eastern time. And yeah, it's not something I expect to happen right away. It's, as I said, a challenge. So it'll happen over the course of likely a few months to hopefully hit that point, maybe a year. I don't know. But nevertheless, I'm just excited. I've been uploading daily over there, and it's been an absolute blast. It originally started off as like clips from the podcast, and now it's turned into independent videos for TikTok specifically, which do better there. If you notice the lighting's a little bit different, that's because I have a busted candle that got knocked over earlier today that is motion censored, which I just realized I can point the light a little bit away. Sorry if you were watching the video and got blinded there a little bit. Yeah, that's my lighting for the moment. Again, still back in PA. Is what it is. But one thing that is dominating the headlines right now is the penis measuring game, aka Cyberpunk was released today, and the videos are absolutely hilarious. The clip of Courage trying to filter everything from YouTube and still finding a way to mess it up and show his size on there. It's just incredible. Like, I love what this game is doing for a lot of people. Not only is the hype been around for a very long time for this game, but in addition to that, it's like a lot of people enjoy open world games like this because, one, they're kind of fun with story mode and everything else going on. But I think for a lot of people, the mentality behind it is that there's a lot to get away from in the world. When you go into these games, you can live a life that you don't get to live in real life. Whether you take it that far or whether you just take it at a surface level, I feel like that's good for everybody to get out of their own shoes for a little bit and just feel like you're something bigger than you are. I'm experiencing that for the first time playing through GTA. I don't know how far I am into the game. I'm at the mission where the boat heist is about to go down with, it's like the first official heist since Michael and the whole gang's together. I don't know. Like, I've been really enjoying the game. I haven't sat down and customized everybody completely. I've kind of just let things be as they are, which I probably do need to get more customization in that to get not more into it. I'm really into it now, but it's just like to get the full experience, you got to kind of do that, customize your car, do everything else. But no, I love what Cyberpunk is doing for people. Whether you're on Twitter, whether you're on Discord, whether you're on Reddit, it just seems like everybody's having a good time right now. And especially in 2020, it's what a lot of people need. And around the holidays, it just seems like people are just happier over the last week and a half. Like, there hasn't been as much outrage in the gaming community, barring news that we'll talk about a little bit later. Overall, it just seems like the game is positive. Now, I'm not getting it myself yet. I only have a PS4 back home. I left my PC back in New York, and from what I've heard, you should not be playing the game unless it's on PS5 or the new Xbox Series X or a piece like a newer PC. That way you can properly get the graphics for the game, because you don't want to play the game when it kind of looks like crap. Like, a lot of time has gone into this, and it deserves to be experienced in the way that it was fully developed and not a scaled down graphic version of it. So yeah, I'm going to hold off on playing it until that point comes, but we'll see. You know, maybe, I don't know if I'm going to do a full like YouTube walkthrough review, I might, but it just depends on how impatient I get or whether there's a lot of plot twists within the storyline that people start talking about. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But to move into official esports news, since I recorded on Sunday, I forget when I recorded for everything there, but my words are all messed up today. The First Strike tournament is officially wrapped up. I believe at the time it was already announced that Heretics won Europe, but the biggest surprise was that 100 Thieves flat out stomped everybody that they played and won the North American side. So your winners were, I forget who in Korea, I forget the other division, but then it was Heretics and 100 Thieves. And I must say, it was a blast watching 100 Thieves, not only because I'm a small, I'd say part-time fan of 100 Thieves. Whenever NRG is not in a game or Hex isn't in a game, like 100 Thieves is probably my go-to brand for connections with Nate Shot and everything else going on there. So I would say I was very happy to watch them win. It didn't feel the same as whenever like your team wins, but it felt good. And I feel like I can honestly say, I don't feel like this is an outlandish statement to say that North America is on top of Valorant at the moment, both from a content side and from just a general skill level point of view. I'm curious to see whether that holds up long term. I said on Discord to somebody that I do think North America will be really good at this game long term, better than Europe and better than Asia, but we will see. I still hold that view for now. Whether that will hold itself, we'll really have to wait until after COVID. We've never really seen a global first-person shooter game like this. I wouldn't put Overwatch in the same category. I wouldn't put Rainbow Six in the same category. It's a whole different style. I don't know. I'm hoping for the best. I want North America to have a good first-person shooter game that isn't console Call of Duty. But we'll have to see over time. The thing that leads into that, though, is the Counter-Strike scene is just going through it. Like, the drama today is that I don't know all the facts on this, so I don't want to fully speak on it, but I just want to speak generally about player unions, etc. Is that the player union for Counter-Strike is started by Sir Scoots is basically being corrupt, more or less. That can very much happen in these situations unless you're properly a union, unless you've gone through the proper protocols, which none of these player organizations have. Not even the one with Riot. None of them are anywhere close to what a union should actually be for these players. And it sucks to see. You hate to see it, but it feels like the writing's on the wall. Like, if any of these esports players actually wanted to organize, they should have done it already. If I'm a Valorant pro right now, okay, I'm talking to everybody that's there about trying to get some sort of players union going now. You have veterans from the Counter-Strike scene there. You have fresh talent in the amateurs coming from other games, but also from just natural development of Valorant as a whole. This needs to be the number one priority while everything's still developing, is getting proper player rights and making sure that everything is set from the foundation up. This game has a lot of potential. A lot. Wait until we get to the point where there's going to be a champion select and like a champion ban or agent select or agent ban, where it's a full snake draft. The element of strategy that's going to go into that, let alone like the map pool selection, etc. Like, there's so much strategy that goes into this. I love the potential for this. On the flip side of that, with all the drama going on today, with everything that you've seen over the last few years, I don't want to say Counter-Strike is dying, because I feel like it's been slowly dying for years. But Valve is not doing what they need to do in order to properly support this scene. And the reality is Valorant is only going to pick up steam from here on out. There's no stopping what they are doing at the moment. It's just going to continue to grow until something else likely overtakes it. If you're Counter-Strike and you're Valve, you just need to lock down the hatches and make the changes that you need to change. But it's not going to happen. Like, Valve just doesn't care enough about esports. And while you hate to see it, quite frankly, I'm also happy that Riot's the one taking charge. I know people have their issues with Riot. I know Riot is, they've had their issues as a tech company in the past, as most companies that are in the tech space or that are emerging do. I feel like it's no excuse at all for any of these tech companies to really have issues internally. But that, generally speaking, is the marketplace. Like, I can't think of many tech companies that don't have issues like that. So, out of everybody that we have available, out of Activision, out of EA, you name all the companies there, Hi-Rez, I trust Riot to develop a good esports product better than anybody else. I mean, the world's by the numbers just came out today, and they, once again, even during COVID, had the highest AMA audience in esports, I believe, in esports history. I know League of Legends history. I know it's bigger than Overwatch League. I feel confident saying that it was the most watched esports event ever. On top of that, just all the content that came out of Worlds. Apply that to Valorant. Oh, it's going to be good. A first-person shooter getting the proper attention that it deserves while also being mainstream, while also potentially getting, skins in game and everything very early on without it being crap. Oh, it's going to be so good. I don't even play the game. I might need to play the game more. I just haven't gotten into it. I don't know if it's just because I haven't gotten the proper friends list. I haven't grinded rank play enough. My aim sucks, so I'm not willing to accept that, etc. I don't know. League of Legends is still more my style of game, but that just kind of is what it is. But I don't know. We'll see. The last little bit that I wanted to touch on for Valorant was the roster moves that are coming out. Now, for G2, things are still up in the air, so we'll hold off on that. They're supposedly changing. They were originally changing 2 players. Now they're changing 1. We'll wait to discuss that until later, and hopefully I can get a guest on that knows a little bit more about Valorant that can talk about that and go down that route. But the one that I am a little bit more familiar with is Kohler getting benched from NRG. And I have a lot of friends from the NRG Discord. I know some of the staff over at NRG. It's, from the fan perspective looking in, it's not a good look to drop Kohler of all people. We don't know the internal issues. We don't know everything else that could be affecting this, because there is a lot more that we don't know, and you hope that they can fix it. And given NRG's track record as a organization with their other teams, generally speaking, I'm not worried. The optics aren't great because you're getting, like, the idea is you want to have older veteran pros, give them time to play with a roster, give people time to develop new talent, etc. But NRG was making roster changes pretty much all the way up to first straight qualifier, so the team never really got a extended period of time to work together to get all their ducks in a row, when the reality is none of them were top players necessarily. So it's like, it's kind of hard to tell. It's not like, I don't know. I don't want to be too critical because I don't know enough, and none of us know enough from the outside coming in. But you do just have to sit here and scratch your head a little bit. It's like, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm hoping for the best. I really am. I want NRG to do well. As I said, I like everybody within the company. I like how Andy Miller and Hex run everything. So we will see. But who knows? I mean, there's really not much to add on that. I don't want to throw salt in the wounds. Moving on. The next topic for today is LCS. And specifically, there were a lot of amateur announcements that came out today. 100 Thieves just released their video just a little bit ago that I did not get the chance to watch. But Let me just pull up the list here on Twitter. That way I'm not speaking out of my butt. So they have picked up for 100 Thieves Next, which is their amateur league talent. They picked up Cozy, Goo, Young Mid, Instinct, and Busiek. Oh boy, I've never heard that name. Even though I have no clue who any of these players are. I have no clue where they're from, what they've done, etc. I'm beyond excited to once again continue to watch 100 Next, because you look at what they were able to do last year. So the roster was Tenacity, Kenby, Poom, who was their ADC? Was it Copy? I forget who their ADC was. But they just had talent. And now you're seeing Kenby moved up to Academy, Tenacity moved up to Academy, Poom moved up to Academy with Ryoma in mid. Just, I love seeing the development of amateur talent. And now you're seeing more teams also pick up their amateur teams as well. So I think Cloud9 has a team in there. TSM used to have a junior team. I don't know if they're going to have an amateur team as well. But that brings me to my point that I want to say. And this is my preach to NRG, which I've said on Twitter, and I'll repeat it here. And this is a blanket statement for everybody, but obviously I've won NRG because personal bias, duh. Please, if you're an organization looking to get into League of Legends, okay, you want to get into the LCS, you want to, make your mark, get in good graces with Riot, etc. Start picking up amateur teams and developing talent. Are you going to lose money on it? If you can't make content off of them, first, I think that's just straight up dumb. You're taking 5 amateur players on a quote unquote no-name team in League of Legends, even though you're one of the top awards. So using FaZe Clan and NRG as examples, okay? You make 5 players on there. Even if one of them makes it to Academy next year, or even imagine they make it to the LCS, or they get bought out by Cloud9 or TSM. That's a whole documentary series there. There's content to be made about the upcoming youth development of League of Legends players. And if you can get a good GM in, okay, and you start developing talent, you can see that you're pumping out good people, you know what you're doing, you're getting invested into the ecosystem, that buys your way into franchising. Like, you will be gifted a spot in the league when it expands, when a team drops out, when something will happen, and they will get another chance. And oh my God, please, somebody do it for the love of God. I'm begging you. Like, I know it's going to be a sunk cost. You have to rent out space. You have to pay a coach. You have to pay, I don't know if you need a GM, but Grady could probably, I think Grady is the NRG GM who oversees everything, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong on that. Just somebody that works under him, okay, that oversees talent development, and then they can start working on it too. If you need to hire a cyber GM, I don't know. Say the costs are at most $500,000, which I doubt, because salary wise, you only have to pay these people like 10 to 20K at most, and that's even a stretch. Like, you're paying them with notoriety and training them to go up. The only thing that you're asking of them is to show up in content and a few other things as well. It's like, there's money to be made there in terms of content. There's money to be made there in terms of buying your way into the LCS while investing minimal cost and guaranteeing yourself a decent relationship if you can pull it off. Now, granted, take that with a grain of salt, because you are competing against the likes of 100 Thieves, who these people can play against their LCS team in-house and learn from them. You're playing against TSM, Cloud9, all of these built-in structures who they are used to having pretty good talent development over time. But the amateur scene's changed. It's now a 16-team tournament with only 6 teams guaranteed from Academy, I believe. I think it's only 6 teams auto-qualify from Academy. That means 10 teams can make it. All you have to do is make it to the tournament once. And you get a chance at picking up these players, and then you sell them and you make some money on them. Because then I think the Academy salaries, it's not the 75 of the LCS. Is it like 50? I'm not 100% certain. But just all the possibilities are there. They are so there. And I hope somebody takes it. I hope somebody runs with it and develops it. And I can come back later and look back on this and say, hey, yeah, it did happen. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited about the new tournament structure. I really am. I'm excited to start following amateur. I want to change the Thursday crossover podcast episode when the LCS starts up to like specific academy wrap up, amateur wrap up, LCS predictions. Like I want to do a pick'ems and parlays thing, which I can convert possibly to TikTok. I'm trying to think of different content ideas. I wasn't sure. I talked about doing it with Zebra, who's been on the podcast before, and doing it that way. But I also thought about trying to do something not in person now, but something more New York specific and tie it in with NYC Lowell, who Judy, who was previously on the podcast, runs. Something to develop the local New York City esports scene, which is quite frankly lacking outside of our get-togethers. I feel like there's so much more to be done in a space that everybody wants events to go to. There's clearly a ton of talent there. You have like 5 teams at NYU. You've got a bunch of people who will show up and play at just local rec level tournaments. Imagine if one of these amateur tournaments shows up to NYC and we already have a good ecosystem going. You do a live podcast with some of the teams, interview some of the players. Oh my God, that would be great. That'd be great content. And it would help develop the scene a ton, not only within New York City, but also the amateur scene. Like you're giving and taking on both. And I feel like that could really be utilized well if done right. But I don't know. I'm excited. But yeah, I'm torn on the 2 different possibilities with that and what I want to do. I think I'm fairly confident that I'm going to do this with Zebra, at least for the first little bit. Then when it's in person, see if it's possible to swap it to a New York City based thing or maybe do something different for that. I don't know. I'm weighing all options. 22 minutes in, that's actually going to be the end of esports specific talk, gaming specific talk, because it is golf time, baby. I just confirmed a little bit ago, this Saturday, 8 a.m., I got a tee time at Range End Golf Club. It was basically my home course my senior year of high school because it's right down by the restaurant or right down by my family's restaurant where I could work and then golf or golf and then work. It was the site of the first round of Mid-Penn playoffs. What was it? I think it was the first 2 years of high school. No, it was only my freshman year, I believe. No, my freshman and sophomore year. Yeah, it was 2 years in a row that I was there before it changed my junior year. So I'm excited to go. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for content-wise. I might try out something for TikTok and like record it via phone for a whole and just see how it goes. I don't know. I'm not 100% torn. I feel like I don't know. Golf content does well, but I don't want it to distract from anything else. I don't know. We'll see. But I definitely want to record some stuff while I'm out there. General expectations for the round, not good. Like, this will be the first full round that I've played that wasn't a scramble playing on my own ball in... It's been a while. I think it's been like since August, because golfing in New York City is just not easy at all. Like, okay, this might go on TikTok, so I'm addressing straight to the camera. Why are the golfing options in New York City so limited? I get Manhattan because there's not enough space. So you have courses up in the Bronx, you have courses out in Brooklyn, out in Queens. But the driving range at Chelsea Piers is good, but it's not great. Okay, I would love for a Topgolf to be replaced there. 2, I don't know much about the simulation leagues. Is that worth trying out? Is that something worth doing? But I don't hear very many people talking about it. So if there's any New York City golf people that can fill me in on this, please do, because I want to golf more in the city, but I don't want to break the bank for it by paying $40 for an Uber to go to Pelham Bay to come back down. And it's like, ugh. So because I haven't gotten to play much golf while we were up there or practice much, I'm not expecting much in this round in the sense that I just want to make good contact. That's my number one priority. I'm score-wise, I don't think I'm going to hit 10 my goal is always 10, 10, 30. 10 fairways, 10 greens, 30 putts. You guarantee yourself in the 70s if you do that. So I'm hoping for that. The goal is to break 80. That's it. Just break 80, warm up on the front nine, get it together by the back. This is a very scoreable course. The back nine is fairly wide open. You got 3 par 5s that you can really take advantage of. You could potentially get an eagle on 17 and 14 or 13. It's 10's a par 3 downhill, 11's a par 5 out, which you're not going to eagle. Par 4 12, 13. Yeah, so 14 is the par 5 going up that you can possibly eagle if you get a good drive and good 3-wood. I'm just hoping to birdie one of the par 5s on the back, but I just want to make good contact with the ball. That was my goal whenever I played in the 4-man scramble in Hershey, and it worked out really well, but we'll see. I just want to good contact all the way through, but it's going to be winter. It's going to be cold. The ball's not going to spin as much, so we got to adapt the game a little bit to the winter weather. But yeah, last bit I wanted to go on, and I kind of touched on this earlier. The thing that irked me about this golf course, and that irks me about Pennsylvania, or at least Central PA golf in general, is I don't like when people set up tournaments in a way that doesn't make sense. So what do I mean by that? The way Pennsylvania golf goes, at least at a high school level, was you play in mid-pens, which is like your local playoffs within like 5 or 6 high schools in the area. And then you go to districts, then you go to regionals, then you go to states. That's the format. The course that we used for mid-pens my first 2 years was Range End, the course I'm about to play this upcoming weekend. When rolled well, the course can be a little bit difficult around the greens, but for the most part, if you can place the ball well, you're fine. Like, you're not going to shoot over 82, 83 most times if you're playing consistently in high school, because there's really not much room to get in trouble. So long as you don't mess up your chip shots and your putting, you're fine. My junior and senior year, mid-pens moved to one of my favorite golf courses in the area of the Links at Gettysburg. But dear God, is that course difficult from the tips. Holy crap. Like, great burger, by the way, there. Like, if you ever get the chance to play the Links at Gettysburg, please do it. It's a phenomenal course for the price that it is. A true American link-style course that's just absolutely beautiful. But on a windy day is a bitch and a half. The 7th hole, you're teeing up from like 70 feet up down, but you're going at an angle. So if you're teeing off out, you're hitting to a slanted fairway that has water on both sides of the fairway. Guy that I know my senior year, he just had to make a 8 on the hole to pass. He ended up taking a 10 because of the water, because the water extends for like the first 350 yards of the hole, and I felt horrible. Like, he averaged like 72, 73, and unfortunately the hole just messed him up. Final hole of the day too, and it sucked to see. But that course is difficult as hell. Okay, then what makes no sense to me at all is you go from that to Briarwood in York, PA, which is a goat path. Like, all that course does is reward long hitters. That's it. Like, there's nothing else really that difficult about the course. If you can hit it long, you're fine. Beyond that, it's like, you're good. Doesn't matter. Now it gets harder for that. I think regionals is Golden Oaks, and then states is at Heritage Hills. And Heritage Hills can be a very difficult course when done right. I just played there over the summer, and actually it was still in great shape. But I was taking driver off one of the par 3s from the tips. Like, it's lengthy at times, and they get that course rolling, and the greens are just unforgiving. Oh God, that course can get tough. But it never made sense to me why you go from a harder mid-pen course to a relatively easy district course. Like, the 2 times I made the districts, the first time I had a great first round, didn't have a good second day, didn't make it. The second time at districts, it was hailing. Like, it literally hailed on the 8th hole, which was like a par 3 downhill, like 230. And it just sucked. Not much to add to that, other than just don't play golf in the hail. It's not fun. To be fair, it was raining and only hailed for like 3-4 seconds. But seeing 1,000 white golf balls come down from the air while you're trying to hit a golf ball, not fun. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyways, I don't want to go on for too much longer. I'm excited for golf this weekend. We'll see how everything goes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Be sure to follow the channel, subscribe, also follow on TikTok. 100 followers goal is 10K. I'll let you know the challenge tomorrow or on Friday, so be sure to tune in. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good one. Goodbye.